Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield talking to some of the world's biggest stars and four of my favourite people. Blake are one of the greatest groups in the world, and Dame Shirley Bassey, what an honour this is. Thank you so much for talking to me.
Not at all. Thank you.
This is a thrill, and I'm the only one who came in fancy dress. Why did nobody tell me?
You look great.
Christmas time, you've got a Christmas single, and you boys have got a Christmas album. The Christmas song is probably the greatest Christmas song ever. Yes or no?
Oh, wow. Oh, who am I to disagree? Oh my God!
I think the version with Dame Shirley Bassey is for sure. Yeah.
Well, this is what's extraordinary. I can't believe you've not done one before. Why not?
I don't know. It's not for not wanting. I've been wanting for years, but the record companies I've been with have never wanted me to do an album of Christmas songs, and to this day I don't know why.
It's extraordinary.
Maybe one day I'll find out.
So I then have to ask the question, why did you choose these boys? You can work with anybody in the world. You love Blake, don't you?
I do, and they chose me. Honestly, they did. They picked me up in a club. Well, it looked like a club. It was very dark.
It's a whole different story. Yeah,
we won't got too much information.
Ollie, I need more details. Tell me, what was the story? How did you meet?
Well, I mean, it goes way back to the very start of Blake. I mean, I always say this rather sweetly, that Dame Shirley has sort of bookended our careers. I hope this isn't the end of it, but perhaps the next chapter. But yes, when we very first started singing, we were asked to sing at the Dame's 70th birthday party. So a number of years ago, but not too long ago. But sort of right at the beginning of our careers, I should say. I should have said 60th, shouldn't I? I've ruined it now. And we did. And we jumped up on stage and sang Moon River, I think, and Happy Birthday, and that was that. And then she jumped up on stage as well, and we had this wonderful scene with a cake and Christopher Biggins, and it's sort of got into sort of Blake folklore, as it were. It's a small circle, that Blake folklore. And then skip forward 9 years. And here we were in the summer this year in August, and we were at a Variety, the children's charity, book launch. They were raising money. It was their 70th anniversary as well, in fact. And Dame Shirley was up there doing a little interview. Yeah, well, there you are, you see. and we had a first sort of re-meet and a re-chat, didn't we? And we talked about, how our careers were going and what we were up to, and it was a lovely
Mine
sort of
stopped in this.
But we had this very honest chat, and then we had the conversation about Christmas albums, and of course it all roller coasted from there.
This is the sycophantic bit, and forgive me, do you realise how loved you are and how remarkable your voice is? Because every day it's still played on the radio. You talk about making choices to come back or ending your career when you choose to do so. It must be amazing to be you.
Yes, it was in the beginning, but the success, it's very stressful. You have to be better than your last performance. You're following yourself all the time, And that became too stressful for me. So I just said, stop. And I do some charity shows now. 2-3 songs, no stress.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that. And to work with the boys, the chance to do the Christmas song. He didn't tell the whole story. He said, they're going to make a Christmas album. And I said, I've never done a Christmas album. So would you like to do one of the songs on it? And I said, love to, yeah. Jumped at it.
And then just last week we saw you on Graham Norton recreating this number live, and it was faultless and it was magnificent, and you've still got that enormous voice. What pressure is there on you to sound like you when you walk in a studio? Because it's so distinctive, that voice. There's no hiding behind the band, is there?
No. It's there. It's something that's there. I don't read music. I've never had a singing lesson. I've had vocal exercise lessons, but I don't think you can give singing lessons.
You've either got it or you haven't.
Yes, exactly. Somebody can't teach you to sing.
And then I wonder on this single, when you get to that last note, which goes on for about 4.5 minutes, have you ever passed out doing one of those belting big ends?
Yes, the Goldfinger I nearly did, yes. That ending, oh my God, and I had to do it 3 times, and until I was blue in the face, and I thought I'm going to pass out.
Is that the famous one where you breathe in the middle and go, God? Yeah.
No, at first I made the mistake of trying to do it all in one go without taking a breath, and that's when I went blue and nearly passed out. And John Barry said, well, try taking a breath. And I said, where? But we found a way.
And when Dame Shirley stood in front of you and there you are singing with her, is there any greater thrill musically?
Well, actually, we discussed this because we've had the pleasure of hearing Dame Shirley record, but standing next to Dame Shirley when she's singing live, as we did on Graham Norton, and actually for Strictly Come Dancing, and when the adrenaline's up and Dame Shirley is ready to perform live, it is truly one of the most amazing physical experiences, let alone musical and emotional experiences that we've had. You can feel that voice going through you, and it was amazing. I could feel the energy and the adrenaline, and then the mouth opened and the voice came out, and it was like, this is actually happening. This is real life. I'm not just dreaming this. So it was such a thrill, and something that none of us will ever forget.
And the irony to think you didn't even want to be a singer. This is almost one big accident, isn't it?
Yes. I mean, I wanted to be an air hostess. I wanted to be a model. And I wanted to be a nurse that I saw blood, and that did it for me. But I never wanted to be a singer. And I never thought about it. I sang from this high. In fact, I would sing instead of cry when I was little. And, nobody got the message.
They wouldn't listen.
No, because of that, I was a nuisance, and I was told to be quiet and not sing, especially, like 3 o'clock in the morning. I woke up in the middle of the night and it was dark, and I don't like the dark.
And I noticed that in the middle of the Graham Norton performance, you literally shrink to a third of your size, then expand as these notes come and go. How exhausting is it to be you? Because that's quite a lot of energy coming and going, isn't it?
No, that was adrenaline. Yeah. I mean, it was incredible. Energy is when you do an hour and a half on stage, but the adrenaline will keep you going. It's after that you can't calm down fast enough,
Yeah. And that's what I mean on stage. I could feel that adrenaline. You could feel it pulsating through Dame Shirley, and that's why that extraordinary energy and excitement comes out when she sings, and it's something else.
I would add to that as well and say that actually it's very interesting because a lot of artists are fantastic live, but they don't always necessarily translate that feeling on their CDs, on their albums. But it was very clear to me that when Dame Shirley and I were in the studio recording it, that as you began to learn, to know the song well and to enjoy singing it, each time we got to the end of a take, was like we'd just done a performance, and there was this huge energy just in this tiny little booth we were in, and you'd get to the end of it and you'd sing it and then you'd go, oh, and it was so exciting, and it was wonderful to watch because it wasn't just like a singer doing a take and doing delivery, and just being a professional. It was somebody actually performing. And that's exactly why your records, I think, are so famous, because every time you listen to it, you just get that sense of a live performance. Yeah. I really think so.
But the key that we sing this song in, we tried 3 different keys.
Everything.
And the voice wasn't there. And then Ollie said, let's go one more. So we kept going up. And the 4th one, now before I got to that, I said, this is not for me, this song. Do you have another one?
You weren't going to do Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer instead, were you?
Well, no,
I was ready to try anything.
We sort of got a phone call from Ollie having finally got Dame Shirley to London, and it was all happening, and then we got the sort of call from all saying, she says she wants to do another one. And we were like, no. So I can only imagine the fear on Ollie's face when she said that. So.
But we could not get the key that my voice was comfortable, the bassy voice, to get those notes out. And then the 4th one, we hit it, and we knew, we both looked at each other.
I wasn't aware that you you had that high range still. I mean, when I was basing the original arrangement around what I'd heard you sing in the last decade, and I'd never heard you sing above, sort of a top A in the last decade, and so we ended up right up at B's and C's. So as you said, you still got it.
and it was interesting because last year you had an album out, which I know you personally weren't that happy with, as you told us at the launch.
I was not happy, Bunny. But the last one. I'm
amazed how it gets to that point. At what point did you realise you weren't happy?
Well, they kept sending me mixes of the album, and they all sounded the same to me. I had 5 mixes, and this has never happened in my career.
Well, I think,
and it was just bad mixing.
I think one of the ways that this has been so interesting is because it's such a small, intimate project, and I'm sure like your other projects, there's lots of different people involved and lots of layers and levels. Where in this, it's just Blake and Dame Shirley. I mean, that literally is the format. We are our own record label, and so there's been no sort of rubbish to cut through, and so we've had absolute control from the beginning, and it's allowed
and a direct channel as well.
That's what I mean.
Important.
What impressed me, the first mix that Ollie sent me, I was on the phone after I heard it, and I said, "That's it." The first one, I couldn't believe it. After having 5 on my album.
I have to say, I was terrified to send you anything that I didn't think was, well, not perfect, but very close to being finished. Because there was no way I wanted to send you anything which I didn't think was already up to scratch. Because it was for us. Yeah, but for us, it was a lot of pressure on us to prove to Dame Shirley that we were a quality act that could do a good job. And it is, we've got to know her a lot more since, but I did, when you first came over, I did feel a lot of stress and oh God, I've got to get her. And she came round to my flat in Battersea. That's where we wrote the song together. Wrote the arrangement.
It's actually the only time it's ever been tidied up was when Dame Shirley came round.
And never mind the single. What does it feel like when DSB comes up on your phone, Stephen? Is there any feeling like that?
I'd be lying if it's ever actually come up on my phone. I know it's come up on Ollie's many a time. I'm sure probably fear. What is it this time?
Does she like it? What is he going to say?
There must be a reason why Ollie holds the phone 6 feet from his ear, because he knows it's going to be quite loud if she starts singing or.
It's been a bit of I think it's been a bit of a dream for all of us. I mean, our families and partners and girlfriends have got to meet Dame Shirley as well, and it's been a lovely experience because for all of us, we've grown up knowing all of Dame Shirley's songs. We've known the films that they've been associated with, and people talk about having to pinch oneself all the time, and we genuinely have. Since this whole thing started in August, there's not been a moment when we've ever really kind of sat down and said, right, this is where we're at. This is what we're doing with our lives. So it's quite special to us.
And I know the cast of Towie might think they're showbiz royalty, but they're really not. I saw one of your last concerts that you did in an arena in Birmingham, and you did a song, Thank You for the Years, which I still think is a wonderful record. And there you were, stood in front of those 10,000 people, and that voice was as good as we'd ever heard it. Can we see that again? Because there's so many people in this country want to see you and the boys touring.
Oh, I don't know, but never say never.
What could I do to convince you? How much champagne?
That doesn't come into it.
What would get you back on the road? Because it's torturous. I get it. Nobody wants to be in buses and taxis and undergrounds.
I think I have to feel it. I have to feel it here.
Yeah. There's nothing glamorous about touring.
No,
there never has been.
We all know.
Did you turn it into an art? Was there a point where you got it right, where you felt comfortable on the road, or was it always hard work?
No, in the beginning it was marvellous. And I got it right. And it was all an adventure. And I loved it, especially when they gave me a bus to travel in instead of, a car, limousine. And the bus I loved, and all of us could go on the bus, whereas in the car, there was only like 2 or 3, plus the driver. I loved my bus. And there were beds. And there was a little dining area and microwave, etc., toilet. And I loved it. And then somewhere along the line, after many years, something happened and it wasn't magic anymore.
Do you miss that round of applause, though? When I look at what you did in that auditorium, I mean, these arenas are so big, and the love that is given towards you, there must be a little bit of you that would like to feel that again, or have you had as much love as you can possibly take?
I think I've had as much love as I possibly could take.
That's extraordinary.
It's 60-odd years.
Yeah.
And there I was just on the train coming down on YouTube, watching you back right at the beginning. When you see those videos, do you ever see those videos, and is it you or is it your granddaughter? Who do you see when you watch those videos?
Somebody else, not me. 'Cause it's another person, and I think, oh my gosh, I mean, she's very sophisticated, and her chat and all that. I wish I was like that instead of this shy person, you know, sort of sitting at home, couch potato, you know, watching myself on television. Two totally different people.
It's interesting, that, isn't it?
It's fascinating, and I wonder your life now. I mean, you could work with anybody you want. You chose Blake, which is a great honour for them.
They chose me.
Yeah.
Well, they did.
You said yes.
I did say that. We have to get it straight. You chose me, and I'm honoured.
But I'm thinking of recording Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, which is in your key for next Christmas.
You got the right jacket on.
I still feel stupid in this. I thought you'd all come Christmassy. Who knew? And then we look at your life. I know you like cooking. That's one of the things that you do enjoy doing. If we all came for dinner, I'm not hinting, by the way, but you could invite us. What would you cook for us? What could we have?
Oh, I wouldn't invite you. That's me at home. I'm terrible. I can't entertain. I get so nervous. I would rather take you out to dinner.
Really?
Yes.
Just say yes now and get it on tape. Yeah.
And then in my research, I was watching you interviewed by Nigel Havers. Do you remember he came round to your house?
Yes.
And the last 15 minutes was on the bed. Now, it just so happens... Ollie, you wouldn't believe what went on that bed. That was a good interview, wasn't it? This doesn't even compare.
And that's why I've never seen this interview, Dame Shirley. I must watch it.
You were very naughty.
I was naughty. Nigel was. I mean,
How many times did you kiss each other? It must have been 340 times.
Well, on the mouth.
Well, on the cheek, on the mouth, everywhere. Haven't you seen it? I'll send you the link. It's outrageous.
What year was this?
1999, I think it was. It was at your house in Monte Carlo.
Yes,
You
yeah.
came in.
He's a famous flirt, isn't he? He's a smoothie.
Yes, it was all flirt.
He's a smoothie.
Do you know the reason, though, I think the British public love you more than most is because you're real and you're fun. And even on Graham Norton, you come across with a wink in your eye. And that's so important to you, isn't it? That you've got your sense of humour and you don't take it too seriously.
And the interviewer doesn't take me too seriously either. And that's why I love Graham, because he doesn't delve deep into my life. It's all on the surface. It's fun. And that's how I like it. I don't like interviews where they go deep into my life, and I'm not very good at that.
So as we sit here today, I mean, this new single is available now and it's for charity, so you're giving back. Stephen, just tell us a little bit about the charity.
Well, there are two charities involved, actually. There's Noah's Ark Children's Hospital in Cardiff, which is an amazing place that they never had before you set it up.
They never had a children's hospital in Cardiff. They had to share hospital with grown-ups, and now they have their own hospital, and they have beds in the room so that parents, mum or dad, can stay with them.
Because I know, I mean, it means a lot to you, doesn't it, to give back? You've had great blessings in your life from humble beginnings. Do you pinch yourself as we sit here in the Ritz of all places? It is incredible, isn't it, to think that the girl from Tiger Bay is sat here and still current and relevant.
Pinch me. Pinch me. Yeah, and I get to have my own bed.
I know. I think this should be the finale to the interview. And finally, I know this is the worst question, and this is the bit you're going to walk out. We're going to go around the room. The greatest song by Dame Shirley Bassey, starting with Ollie. The greatest song. Come on, there has to be one.
Just My Bill from Showboat, actually.
It's unusual.
Because I've got that on vinyl.
You
And
played that to
it's
us
Dame
at the
Shirley
beginning.
when she's very young. She can't be more than 20. And it's extraordinary because it just shows everything that's going to happen in the future.
Yeah.
So there you go. You can choose a famous one.
It's a great choice, that, because all did play that to us, and you hear
Fantastic.
that the exactly that, this voice, which you think, wow, that there could only have been one path for a voice like that, and that's a great choice.
Yeah.
I'm going to get in there early. I'm going to go with Goldfinger. It's got to be. It's predictable, but it's one of the most famous songs. And interestingly, when we were making our music video with Dame Shirley, there were some people there with their children, and even they at 4 years old, they know Goldfinger. So it crosses generations, it crosses cultures. It's one of the biggest songs of all time.
And I honestly think the reason that franchise is so big and enormous today is because of your three songs. I mean, they define the shows, and they're almost bigger than those movies. You can't really comment on that, but I mean, what a great privilege to have that opportunity, but then to make it your own. I mean, that's extraordinary. What's your favourite?
Well, I'm a fan of electronic music, and one of my favourite collaborations that Dame Shirley worked on was with the Propellerheads, with History Repeating, which just showed everybody that you can use this iconic voice in a very different way, and brought Dame Shirley's voice to a whole new generation that maybe would have known it from the films but wouldn't know exactly who that voice was. And then suddenly, with all this fantastic electronic bass line and drums, this voice soared over the top. And for a lot of us, that's where we first heard the voice.
I think also it's a really interesting choice because again it shows the other reason that her voice is so distinctive. It's not just about the power, it's also about the rhythm, because she has a delivery that is very unique. I'm just thinking of the rhythm in that song, just a little bit of history repeating. It's really unusual, and she, it's the way you sing against the rhythm, and you make it your own. You did that with this song as well. You did that with the single, so that when you recorded first, and we all went, right, those are the takes we're having. Right, now we've got to record our bits so they fit with that. And we were singing these rhythms that were completely alien to us and unusual, but just worked fantastically
free
well.
And soloistic, and that thing of the performance, and Dame Shirley saying that she never does the same take twice, is a testament to when you're in the moment and you sing in that moment. You're not thinking, I need to make my notes this long, or but I suppose now you've asked us, the real crux of the interview is for Dame Shirley to say what her favourite Blake song is. On the spot.
Nessun Dorma. Well, I saw them and I heard them at the Grosvenor House. No, with the Grosvenor House at was it
Dorchester at the RNIB Gala, wasn't it?
Yeah. And you sang Nessun Dorma, and my feeling, and the hairs on the back. Oh, I don't have many now, but they went up. You know?
Yeah, good.
I loved that, and everybody in the room went. And silence. It was wonderful.
Thank you.
You see, you still haven't lost your love for it. I'm begging you to come back on tour. Give us one last chance to see you do what you do so magnificently, even if it's love to see you.
10 minutes.
I don't mind. We'd be happy. Three songs is fine. Honestly, we love you very much. We want to thank you for all the years, literally. And this new single is tremendous. It's out now. It's the Christmas song with Blake and Shirley Bassey. And I can't thank you enough for your time. There's many, many other people you could have talked to, and we're greatly honoured. Boys, thank you so much. And have a Merry Christmas.
And you too. Merry Christmas.
I'm going to take this jacket off now. And excuse me. Lovely. Thank you. That was lovely. Thank you. Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.